Welcome to the Master Builder Show, sponsored by the First National Bank of Weatherford. I'm your host, Jim Gibson, President of Gibson Home Builders Incorporated, a registered builder in the state of Texas, a graduate master builder certified by the National Association of Home Builders. I am a current member of the U.S. Green Building Council, the Texas Association of Builders, and National Association of Builders, and the past president of Parker County Builders Association. Today's topics are going to be basements in Texas. And my guest today is Tom Whirling with North Texas Basements. Hello, Tom. How are you this morning?
Great. Thanks for having me, Jim. This is going to be fun.
Oh, I think so. The people are always asking, can you build a basement in Texas? And certainly, if you do it right.
Yeah, my response always to that is, why not?
Well, one of the main reasons that there aren't a lot of basements in Texas is due to our expansive soils. And we have a lot of problem with movement down here. I mean, we've got movement anywhere from 1 to 2 inches up to about 12 inches on certain areas. And I guess you're going to be telling us exactly how to do it today. So hopefully you're the expert on it, right? That's yet to be found out, I guess, if I'm really the expert or not. But, the expansive soils is the earth moves on top. Right.
The earth doesn't move down in the ground.
Correct.
And that's where a basement goes. So we're going to put that basement down on solid ground, and we're going to forget about that expansive soil that's up on top. We're more concerned with what's happening down at the bottom of the ground or bottom of the basement. And there are some criteria that may keep you away from deciding to go with a basement, but those are minimal. For the most part, basements can be done about anywhere.
Well, okay. You get an engineer to come out first, or our geotechnical engineer, or some kind of type of engineer do a soil analysis to determine the depth of the crust, I guess, or depth of the topsoil, or what's actually down there?
Well, what we're really interested in is what's down at the bottom of the dig, what we call the dig. That's the depth of the hole that we're going to dig to put the basement in. Now, we can do basements 8 foot, 9 foot, 10, 11 foot deep. We can do them about any depth that you want. So we're interested in what is happening at the bottom of that foundation. And expansive soils are a criteria all over the nation. Just different spots have different soils. And I'm from Ohio, and we've got expansive soils in different parts of Ohio, in fact. But what we're interested in is what's the soil what's in the soil, what's the makeup of the soil down at the bottom where the footer is going to be.
Right.
And so that is a criteria. Obviously, we're going to have a soils test, but we're not looking for vertical lift or anything. We're interested in what is down there at 8 foot or 9 foot in the ground.
Hopefully you'll hit rock, correct?
No, actually, we don't want to. No, we'd rather stay out of rock. We want to stay out of that rock because that brings up a whole nother can of worms.
This show is designed to educate and answer any questions that listeners might have on any type of construction here in Texas. If you want to check out a builder in Texas, you can go to www.masterbuildershow.com, and it'll take you to a web page there, and you can click on TRCC, which is the Texas Residential Construction Commission. And if you've got any questions, you can call us toll free at 877-341-8950. That's 877-341-8950. What do we need to? We're going to get the soil test done and determine what the makeup of the soil is. What are our first steps? I mean, of course we're going to start digging.
Well, even before that, we've got structural criteria that typically isn't looked at here in Texas, because basically we start on a concrete slab right now.
Right.
Which means you don't have to worry about any weight loading beyond the bottom of that first floor plate. Okay, you got to worry about where your weight's sitting on the second floor onto the first floor.
Right.
We've got to be concerned with where that weight from the second floor is sitting on the first floor and where the weight from the first floor is now sitting in the basement.
Correct.
So we've got some design criteria, way before we even start. But typically, let's say we've got that all worked out. Yeah, we're going to do a soils report.
Right.
Then we got to do engineering.
Correct.
And that engineering is going to be done based on, the size and shape of the home and the soil's condition. And, then from there we'll get to the physical part of it.
Do you need, I guess, how do you support the walls as far as keeping it from the expanding soils coming back in, crushing walls? Are you putting dead men in behind the walls, or are they necessary?
No, basically for the expanded soils, what's really needed is really get to the whole nitty-gritty of doing a good basement.
Right.
Basements get a bad rep because, they crack, they leak. That's what you hear.
Correct.
Well, I've been around basements for 30 years. And back in Ohio, we didn't have any inspections. We didn't have any engineering.
Right.
At 20 years old, I went out and we put some stakes in the ground. We paint some lines on the ground. And we just started digging.
Mm-hmm.
And in 30 years, I never had one failure. And I never had one leak. And the secret to doing all that and controlling your expansive soils isn't the wall of the basement. It isn't the waterproofing. It's basically what you backfill with. And we backfill. I've always believed it from day one.
Right.
We backfill with clean aggregate, which is stone.
Okay.
So let that water get away from the basement, and you have a buffer there, which buffers that basement.
All right, and you're also building French drains out around to bleed the water off away from the basement flooring and all this other stuff as the water drains down into it. Yeah,
at the bottom of the footer, we put drains on the inside of the footer and the outside of the footer.
Okay.
So any water comes along the outside of the foundation, outside of the basement wall, that water and the water coming out of the natural soil around the basement hits that stone, goes down to that footer tile.
Okay.
And then underneath the basement floor on the inside, we have gravel. So if there's any groundwater in that area, it'll raise into that stone and go over to the footer tile on the inside of the footer.
Okay.
Then multiple places through the footer, we have pieces of drainage to connect the two.
Okay.
Now, if it's a hillside basement, what you've got there is you've got the capacity to take that outside drainage tile all the way around the basement,
right,
and just drain it down over a hill or take it down to the lake or whatever. On a flat lot situation, what we do is we take that inside footer tile,
correct,
and take it to a sump pump.
Okay.
And from there, any groundwater would be pumped out to, let's say, the curb or a storm sewer or whatever's available in that
right,
on that lot. So it's handled differently depending on the type of basement and the lot.
Right. So you can build one kind of on flat ground with no problem as long as you have a sump pump, correct?
Yeah. The sump pump's just there to get rid of that subterranean water.
Right.
You got to get rid of it.
Well, on your soil analysis, they'll give you your water table and all that stuff generally, where you're going to hit water, because I noticed that on all my reports, they'll tell you when you hit water. I've hit water at 6 foot on some of these locations out around close to these lakes. What if you do hit water in some areas like that?
Well, that's one of the criteria. There's 3 criteria that people have to be concerned with, and one of them is there groundwater at 4 foot?
Right.
Is there groundwater at 6 foot? Did we find none at all? Well, if you get groundwater at 4 foot or 6 foot or anything above the basement floor, the homeowner has to decide, do I want to pump that much water for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
So that might be a criteria that will keep someone away from doing a basement just because they don't want to be paying the electric bill to pump that water forever.
Correct. Looks like we're coming up on a break. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Did you know that some of the best home builders in the entire nation are right here in Parker County? Hello, everyone. This is Lynn Bearden, president of First National Bank of Weatherford. Our lenders believe your family deserves the best when it comes to your dream home. First National Bank is proud to support the Master Builder Show on QXFM. First National Bank in Weatherford has been building homes in Parker County since 1880. Member FDIC and an equal housing lender.
YourCircleOfWealth.com. A recent study by one of the world's largest financial institutions estimates that over 90% of baby boomers will not retire financially independent. We have prepared a financial report entitled Your Circle of Wealth. Learn how changing the way you manage your money can dramatically increase your wealth. To get a copy, you may go to www.yourcircleofwealth.com and enter the passcode Gibson, Gibson. That's yourcircleofwealth.com.
Alamo Appliance, 100 South Riverside Drive in Fort Worth, has been dedicated to serving your needs in kitchen appliances for over 35 years. They offer Genair, KitchenAid, Whirlpool, Maytag, Amana, and many others. Their experienced sales staff will help you make the right decisions at the right time. That's Alamo Appliance, 817-531-2701. Once again, that's Alamo Appliance, 817-531-2701.
Gibson Home Builders Incorporated, 2401 Zion Hill Road, Weatherford, Texas, 682-429-2116. We specialize in homes to suit each and every individual that expects special attention. We help design, finance, and close on every home we build. We use green building techniques in all of our homes. You can contact Jim at masterbuildershow.com. Gibson Home Builders Incorporated, Weatherford, 682-429-2116. Welcome back to the Master Builder Show. I'm your host, Jim Gibson. Today's show is sponsored by the First National Bank of Weatherford. My guest today is Tom Whirling with North Texas Basements, and we've been discussing basements and soil conditions. Anyway, Tom, we were talking, I guess, before the break. What were you talking about before the break?
These expansive soils.
Correct. All right, and okay, we're talking about if you hit water at 4 to 6 foot, then you've got to think that you're either going to have to pump water consistently for the rest of your life there in that location, unless Mother Nature changes the course of the water there. What would y'all, if he wanted a basement, could y'all build up the soil around it and just go down to where they hit water? Would that be a feasible way to build one?
Well, that depends.
And build more like a bermed.
Yeah, that depends on the situation. Like, we're going to be doing one here right after the holidays in North Richland Hills, and it's on a flat lot in a subdivision. You know, subdivision has like 220 lots in it.
Right.
Well, North Richland Hills, have a criteria about how high grade is going to be and everything else. So if we hit that soil report says, we're fine. No water, no significant water, which is fine. You're going to find a little bit of water anywhere. But so in that scenario, let's say we wanted to come up 2 foot, we wouldn't be able to because of city regulations.
Okay.
But if you're out in the county, we can do about anything.
Right.
We can do about anything. But typically, those are going to be criteria that might be questionable on a flat lot. Now, if you got a hillside lot and you got some water, it's just going to drain. When we open everything up, it's just going to drain out the back anyhow on a hillside lot.
Right.
So that's not going to be an issue.
But do you do mostly walkout type basements, or you do just regular full blown basements?
I think demand is going to push us to just full blown flat lot basements because they're that. There's no reason not to.
Right.
But hillside basements, obviously, look at the number of lots you have that are available in the Metroplex. Flat lot versus hillside lots. There's a lot more flat lots than hillside.
This is the Master Builder Show, and you can reach us at 877-341-8950. That's 877-341-8950. If you got any questions for Tom or I on any type of construction or basements, you can give us a call, 877-341-8950. Now, Tom, on the basement, when you actually dig out for the basement itself, how much room do you leave between the basement wall and the backfill area there that you're going to be backfilling? You've got to have enough room to get machinery in there and work around it while you're building the thing, don't you?
Well, typically our overdig is between 2 foot and 2.5 foot.
Oh, that's all?
Because all we have to do is get a body down there and get the form down there and get the form back out of there.
Okay.
That's all.
I was thinking 4 to 6 feet.
Oh, no. So, yeah, we typically dig about 2.5 foot overdig is what we call it, an overdig. Because we've got to, when we're standing the forms up, everything's wide open. So we're doing that from the inside.
Right.
We stand up the exterior form first, then we stand up the interior form, then we go to the next one. So no one's really out there's no need for a whole lot of workspace out there because nobody's out there anyhow.
Okay.
Now, when we strip the form, we got to go down there and release our pins, pull the form out, and get it out of there. So we're only, at any given point, taking forms off, we're standing in that location for less than 5 minutes.
Now, I've seen several illustrations and stuff. I did quite a bit of research before the show on basements. And up north, they're pouring footers first, and then they're pouring the slab floor second after they prepare the ground and all that stuff. And down here, typically, I notice most of them pour a basement floor completely and then put the walls on top. What is your process?
Pouring the floor first is a doomed basement.
Is it?
From day one. Okay. That basement doesn't have a prayer. We're going to dig, and the real reason that some people, I guess, elect to do that is to get away with only pouring twice.
Right.
Pour the floor, pour the walls, done. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
The way basements are done, you pour 3 times.
Right.
The whole rest of the country, you pour 3 times. Only Texas does it 2 times. We're going to pour footers.
Okay.
We're going to pour the walls. Then we're going to pour the floor.
Okay, so the floor is the last thing you pour.
Very last thing. What that does is that keeps that floor is poured from wall to wall, tight.
Right.
So that keeps the wall from pushing in with Mother Earth on the outside.
Right.
So that stabilizes your wall. The wall can't push in because the floor is holding it, and then it's not going to go out because Mother Earth's out there. Whereas if you set that form, or the wall on top of the floor, you got numerous problems going on now. You've got Mother Earth can push that wall in.
Right.
Which I don't care how you seal the bottom of that wall.
It's still going to move.
It's going to move because Mother Earth is stronger than any kind of little bit of re-rod sticking up.
Right.
So that wall is going to move.
Okay.
When it moves, it's going to crack. So now you got cracks.
Right.
You broke your seal along the bottom. You got a disaster. Total disaster.
The footers themselves, and now do you pour them, what do you typically pour them, like 2 foot or 3 foot into untouched soil?
Yeah, basically that's down on undisturbed Mother Earth.
Right.
And they'll vary we're used to up north a 20-inch footer. But
20.
those footers can be 3 foot.
Right.
It depends on the soil conditions and how much weight's going to be on that wall. And that footer will have some rebar in it.
Correct.
But typically, and the footer is going to start at 8 inches thick.
Okay.
And there might be criteria. We want a 12-inch footer.
Right.
Be honest with you, 8 inches is all you need. It's a width that's more important. You want to, the more weight you have on that house,
Right.
the more of a expansive foot you want under holding it.
Mm-hmm.
So the depth isn't really important. An 8-inch thick footer is not going to bust any faster than a 12-inch footer will. It's
Right.
the width that we need.
Well, I've poured I've poured quite a few down in Granbury and close to the lake down there. And we were doing our beams, and instead of going deep with our beams, we were going wide with our beams. We had beams that were like beams and footers that were 2 foot wide. So, and we had gone in and put a Marafi type fabric down on the floor and then backfilled it to pour our beams on top of. And the engineers had called for that. Do y'all use any type of fabric below the beams themselves or footers?
No, we never have. Up in Ohio, when I dig and we get into some wet sand.
Right.
Of course, people up there call that quicksand, but it's not quicksand. But we get into some really wet sand locations. Mm-hmm. What we do is we just pour a wider footer.
Right.
And like I said, I've never had a failure. But to put anything under that, we never did. We never really did. Because typically we dig one day.
Right.
Unless it's a gigantic job. We're going to dig one day. We're going to pour a footer the next day. We're going to be pouring walls the third day.
Okay.
So to let that sit, and everything go, you know how things are when things sit,
right.
Everything kind of goes against you.
Yeah, especially if it rains.
Yeah. We're going to keep at it. So, we're not going to worry about water coming up. Well, right off the bat, we're going to have some drainage there.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have our sump pump sitting there typically before we even pour the footer.
Now, on your footer itself, as you pour it, do you put any type of I noticed as they're pouring slabs down here, they put it's a vertical seal that goes in there that sticks up that you actually pour your wall around.
That's called a water stop.
Water stop.
No, there's no reason for it.
What do you put between the footer and the wall?
Nothing.
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 You don't need to put any type of rubber seal
Doesn't
or anything.
need any because water stop. It's called.
Right.
That's like usually a 6-inch membrane, maybe 1/4-inch thick of rubber. That's to keep water out.
Right.
Well, we got it from the top of the footer. Is where that would be sticking up for the
Right.
wall to contact too. Our footer tile's down at the bottom of the footer.
Mm-hmm.
So our drainage is way below that.
Okay.
And if you have a sump pump inside, let's say you have a sump pump inside the basement
Uh-huh.
because you're on a flat lot,
Right.
that water is going to rise in that sump pump. Let's say your sump pump got unplugged or something,
Mm-hmm.
and that water starts rising. Well, the water's going to come up in the sump pump pit anyhow.
Right.
So there's no practical reason for a water stop because it's got to weigh in anyhow. Water.
How high is your footer off of I guess, off the untouched soil, or
The thickness of the footer.
Thickness of the footer.
So we're going to pour that footer right on Mother Earth down there.
Okay, yeah,
right on.
It's not like digging a footer in a regular foundation where we actually dig down. You're just pouring the footer on top and putting the wall on top of that.
Right. Typically, let's say an 8-foot basement, we're going to dig down. We're going to dig down whatever we need to, depending on the elevation we want at the top, and then we're going to along the perimeter where the footer is going to be.
Right.
And then we're going to raise about 5 inches for the floor excavation. So we're going to be digging 2 different heights.
Okay.
And then let's say we go in that lower excavation around the perimeter where the footer is going to be, and we'll pour an 8-inch footer in there then.
All right, we've got to take another break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Did you know that some of the best home builders in the entire nation are right here in Parker County? Hello, everyone. This is Lynn Bearden, president of First National Bank of Weatherford. Our lenders believe your family deserves the best when it comes to your dream home. First National Bank is proud to support the Master Builder Show on QXFM. First National Bank in Weatherford has been building homes in Parker County since 1880. Member FDIC and an equal housing lender.
YourCircleOfWealth.com. A recent study by one of the world's largest financial institutions estimates that over 90% of baby boomers will not retire financially independent. We have prepared a financial report entitled Your Circle of Wealth. Learn how changing the way you manage your money can dramatically increase your wealth. To get a copy, you may go to www.yourcircleofwealth.com and enter the passcode Gibson, Gibson. That's YourCircleOfWealth.com.
The Bank of Weatherford, local folks you know and trust. We are proud of our community and our customers. Whether you need a checking account, personal or business loan, auto loan, interim construction loan, or mortgage loan, we can help. You may visit us at 901 Santa Fe Drive in Weatherford, or you may give us a call at 817-596-9998. You may also visit us on the web at www.thebankofweatherford.com. The Bank of Weatherford, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Gibson Home Builders Incorporated, 2401 Zion Hill Road, Weatherford, Texas, 682-429-2116. We specialize in homes to suit each and every individual that expects special attention. We help design, finance, and close on every home we build. We use green building techniques in all of our homes. You can contact Jim at masterbuildershow.com. Gibson Home Builders Incorporated, Weatherford, 682-429-2116. Welcome back to the Master Builder Show. I'm your host, Jim Gibson. Today's show is sponsored by the First National Bank of Weatherford, and we're talking about basements in Texas today. My guest is Tom Whirling with North Texas Basements, and we were talking about the footings and placing the walls on the footings. Okay, once we get the footings poured and everything's hunky-dory, I guess, on the footings there, what are we doing around the footing before we pour the wall? Are we doing anything?
Well, typically, just so everything can get in there and get well placed, once the footing is poured, that's when we'll put our drainage pipe around the inside and the outside.
Okay.
And set our sump pump pit.
All right.
And then we cover, typically at that point, we go in there with clean aggregate, stone, and we cover the floor with stone, with a couple of inches of stone, so that can drain. Right. Which that's one thing most people don't do, because stone's at expense.
Right.
But we'll cover, basically we'll take the bottom grade of that basement at that point and make it level with the top of the footer.
Okay.
With stone.
Right.
Outside covering the footer tile, inside covering the footer tile, covering the floor. Now we've got a nice, flat, clean surface to set our forms down in there so they don't get muddy, and to work with.
Okay.
And that ensures that our footer tile's put in right, everything's going, drainage is all hooked up properly, and we're ready to go.
Do you leave on the footer as you pour the wall? Is there a lip on the inside where the actual slab will sit on top of that footer, or is it poured up just and butting against the footer at the ground level?
No, typically that wall is going to sit in the middle of the footer. So let's say you have a 30-inch footer. Mm-hmm. Let's say you have a 10-inch wall, which is typical for a brick foundation, with a foundation on a brick house.
Right.
So you're going to have, and let's say we have a 30-inch footer, so you're going to have 10 inches of concrete out, 10 inches of the concrete in.
Okay.
But so you have that 10-inch pour in the middle.
You're talking about a 30-inch wide footer.
Let's say we have a 30-inch wide footer.
Okay.
You have 10 inches of concrete on the outside, 10 inches on the inside, so that wall is sitting right in the middle, or close to the middle.
Right.
Because it's not that critical, but you want to be relatively close. And that way we got that nice big foot. It'd be like walking on your foot with your leg coming down on the side of your foot instead of in the middle of your foot. You know? Right in the middle. But and then we're going to waterproof. There's the other factor another factor why you don't pour the floor first and then pour the wall on top of it, because you got a lip on the outside for your footer, for your forms to sit on.
Mm-hmm.
So in the scenario where you're pouring the floor, then pouring the wall on top, besides that wall moving, you've got surface water coming down that wall.
Right.
And it can hit that lip, which is actually your basement floor.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
You know, it's and Mother Earth's pushed it, and it's already broke free, and it's cracked, and that water is going to go right on in. Rather than going around that slab, that water can go straight on in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Right.
So in our scenario, we're going to pour that footer, pour the wall on top, then pour our 4-inch basement slab, which is just a walking surface. It's got no structure at all. It's just a walking surface.
Okay.
It's just to keep your feet out of the stones.
All right.
Okay? And it's like putting down ceramic tiles, just a walking surface.
Let's don't get to the slab yet. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But we set the forms in the middle of the footer,
right?
And we got a 30-inch footer. It's an 8-inch, 10-inch wall.
Let's say we're pouring a 10
inch wall. We poured it in right in the middle, so you got 10 inches on each side of the wall,
right
at the footer. What are we going to do on the outside?
We're going to spray on a emulsion waterproofing product. That's got some tensile strength to it. It's got a warranty to it.
Right.
We're going to spray that on. That way we get nice, heavy coverage all the way around. And that basically has some stencil strength and everything, so all concrete cracks.
Right.
Okay, that was the 11th commandment.
Right.
The tablets were concrete, and that one fell off.
Yeah, if it doesn't crack, it will.
Well, yeah. So, but this spray-on waterproofing will stretch with the foundation. Okay, so
it's got an elastomeric value to it.
Right. Any small cracks, hairlines, nothing's going to happen there anyhow. Right.
And you're spraying that on the footer and on the wall at the base of it? Or are you spraying
We're spraying the whole wall.
All the way down.
And I'm spraying all the way to the top.
Okay.
In other words, if we have a brick ledge in there where your brick's going to come down into the foundation, so you got brick all the way to the grass now instead of up 10 inches, I'm going to spray all the way to the plate line.
Okay.
So if any water gets in behind, brick is absorbent.
Right.
Any water gets into that brick, it's going to go down, and we've got that waterproof now.
Okay. So
we're going to spray all the way from the top, all the way to the bottom.
You prefer the spray on rather than the membranes that they put on?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Why? Is there a reason?
It's faster, it's easier, and it's less dangerous for employees.
Oh, okay. And plus, if it's got an elastomeric value, you don't have the joints to contend with.
Well, the other thing is you put a membrane on there. You just got a lot of things going on. Okay, if I'm backfilling with stone, I don't need anything on that wall.
Right.
Because that water's going to go down. Now, if you're going to backfill with dirt, maybe you should use that membrane.
Okay.
Yeah, to help keep that water out. But I'm going to bring in 100 ton of stone.
Right.
And let Mother Nature take care of my drainage.
Yeah, we were talking about that. I think during the break, you can divert water, but you really can't stop water.
Yeah, don't fight Mother Nature.
Well,
she wins.
She wins. She always wins.
Always wins.
All right, we've got the footer down. We've got the wall poured, and we've got the membrane blown or sprayed on there.
Sprayed on.
All right.
Waterproofing.
On the inside now, we're going. You've got 2 or 3 inches of gravel down on the base, and that should provide the drain plane for anything other that gets in there.
Any subterranean water coming up is going to go to the footer tile.
Now before you pour the floor, you're going to dig a sump pit, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Actually two.
Two, okay.
And even almost no one does that. It's actually in the codes where you need 2 sump pump pits.
At 2 different locations, or?
No, they can be right next to each other.
Oh.
But one needs to be raised and one below.
Right. Why?
The raised one, okay, any water from inside the house can be polluted with soap,
right,
dirt, and you name it. You know everything that's in a house.
Right.
Okay, anything that is man polluted is supposed to go through your sewer system.
Correct.
Okay. So if you put the sump pump at floor level is basically your floor drain, let's say. Okay. Well, anything coming off that floor should go to your sanitary sewer.
Correct.
So that sump pump needs to be pumped. You're going to have 2 sump pumps. That one's going to get lifted into your sanitary sewer.
Okay.
So that if you got soap down there or who knows, it's going to the sanitary sewer instead of out to the creek.
Okay. Is that the one that's raised?
No, that's the lower one.
That's the lower one. Okay.
Because, let's say you're hosing down the basement.
Okay. That's where you want to go.
And
everything
you're squeegeeing it, and that needs to go to the sanitary sewer so it can be treated so we're not killing fish in the creek.
Right.
Or in the lakes.
Okay.
Now we're going to raise one
a
little bit. And the only thing that can come to that, since we can't sweep into that one off our floor, the only thing going to come into that is Mother Earth's water from outside and under the floor.
Okay.
That's clean water. That's already, soil filtered water. That's nature's water.
Is it going to be just slightly below floor level?
No, it'll be raised.
It'll be raised.
This sump pump's going to be raised.
So you've got to get actually an inch or so of water in your basement before it activates?
Oh, no. The sump pump pit's like 2 foot deep.
Okay. But it's what I'm asking is it's actually below floor level, but it's raised above the other.
Yeah, the rim is up above floor level.
Okay.
And we're going to pour concrete around that to make it look nice. But the top edge of that sump pump pit is above floor level, so you can't sweep into it.
Okay.
A couple inches. But these sump pump pits are like 2 foot deep. So it's still down on the ground. It's way down there. The pipe's coming into it. And all that gets is clean water. Drinkable water, really.
It's getting the water that's coming in through the gravel and stuff. That's
through the gravel.
So you don't actually have concrete in the bottom of it?
No, these are plastic. These are plastic sump pump pits.
Okay, I'm still having a problem understanding this. You're on the raised one.
It's only raised about 3 inches.
3 inches from the other one, or from
the floor.
From the floor. Okay. So my question is, do you have to get water in the basement for it to activate? On the basement floor, correct? Yes, no.
Not that one, because that water is coming in from outside.
Okay.
So we got 2 things going on. We got our footer tile on the inside and outside of the footer, draining to the sump pump pit.
Right. Oh, okay.
Okay, that's where the water's coming from for that one.
All right.
And that pit is elevated about 2-3 inches above the floor.
Okay.
So it restricts what can get in it. Now, you've also got the one at floor level with a sump pump pit in it. And that's going to take your surface water from your floor. Okay. And that needs to go your sanitary sewer.
Okay.
And you find these dual sump pump pits almost nowhere in the country.
I haven't seen one here in the Texas basement.
You don't see many in Ohio either.
Oh, you don't?
No. People ignore these rules, and nobody enforces them.
Well, rules are made for a purpose, and just like all our codes have been made for a purpose, and that is something has gone wrong down the road that caused them to make those codes. All right, we've got that lip on the inside, and we got our sump pump pits dug, and we're going to pour it. Is there any membrane that goes on the lip on the interior that we pour in that slab on? No.
Basically, all we're going to do is, we got a flat floor surface, top of the footer, with stone. We got our 2 sump pumps sitting there, and we're going to put in 6 mil poly, so we don't have any capillary action. Ground moisture sucking up through that concrete.
Right.
Because it's been proven a column of concrete a mile high will suck water all the way to the top. capillary action.
Correct.
Right. So we want to stop that because we don't want your basement to be moist and everything. So we're going to put down 6 mil poly.
Right.
Then we're going to pour your floor on top of that.
Now, if you're going to have supporting walls on the interior of that basement, you're going to have to pour footers inside there, aren't you?
Yeah, we'll pour footers if you have bearing walls and wherever your jack posts that are going to hold up
your rafters,
your beams.
Your beams.
Because typically you got to have beams sitting through there.
Right.
Any place there's any structural support, we will put a footing underneath that when we pour the footing for the wall.
Okay.
So let's say you have walls that are going to be bearing. Yeah, there'll be a line of concrete through there that we'll pour the floor on top of, and that will be your support for that extra weight in that location.
Do you pour just normally when you're pouring basement floor, you don't pour like a waffle slab or anything like we do just on the regular on-grade slab foundation?
No.
No need to.
There's no need to. It's just a walking surface. The floor serves three purposes. It keeps out groundwater from coming up because it's got that 6 mil poly under it. It gives you a flat surface to walk on, and it holds the basement walls apart on the bottom. Okay. And that's the most important part of all of it.
Right. Well, everybody I've talked to has poured earlier has poured the basement floor first, then put the walls up, and I see why now.
Doomed.
Everything that I looked at on the internet showed pouring the footers, pouring the walls, then pouring the floor. Mm-hmm. And then everybody I talked to around here said, well, we always pour the basement floor first. So I was wondering why they had so much problems with them. I guess that's
suicidal. But what's really weird is we've got all these standards.
Uh-huh.
That basements work everywhere. Canada, everywhere where you got all that freeze and push, you know, because when ground freezes, it gets bigger. Right. And so you got all this push, hydraulic pressure, frozen. And there's nothing harder than frozen dirt.
Right.
You get all this push and everything, and it works everywhere in the world. Pour the footer, pour the wall, pour the floor. You get to Texas, and we try to recreate the world down here.
Well,
try to do it different. Why?
Well, some Northerners came down here and told us how to do it wrong. All right. Now, we've got the space between the wall and the exterior where the dirt is. Normally you backfill that totally with gravel all the way up to, I guess, not quite to ground level.
Well, we've got our waterproofing on.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got that sprayed on. Then I like to put Dow styrofoam on the wall.
Okay.
Couple of reasons. Just to stabilize temperature, movement, and the other thing is it's the drainage plane I like.
Okay.
Because a 4 foot by 8 foot sheet isn't going to leak or have as many, doesn't have any holes in it.
Right. Right.
Whereas that spray on membrane, you scratch it or something. Of course, it's not going to get scratched.
Well,
it's just another added layer of protection.
Well, it adds a cushion there when you're dumping the gravel in. It doesn't damage the membrane. But you actually go ahead and fill that up, to a foot, within a foot of the top of the wall?
Yeah. Typically, we'll bring in 100 ton of stone, more or less, and we'll backfill pure stone up to about typically a foot, 12 inches. And that we put dirt on top of so you can your bushes can grow.
And I think code here in Texas is a 5% grade out 10% away from your exterior walls to drain that water off anyway. Any surface water that actually hits and
that can go
right, or put gutters on your house to lead it away from the house. I know we try to build all these houses with some type of grade or drain plane away from the house, away from the foundations, and people come in and put all those metal flower bed rings and stuff up around the house
to hold the water up against the house. Yeah,
make a dam there for the flower beds.
Let's hold the water up against the house.
Hold it up there. Yeah.
You don't want to do that with the basements.
No. But if you did with the way you're building, you've got that drain plane with all that gravel in there that would actually dissipate all the water that would come up around there.
Right.
And we've got to take another break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Did you know that some of the best home builders in the entire nation are right here in Parker County? Hello, everyone. This is Lynn Bearden, president of First National Bank of Weatherford. Our lenders believe your family deserves the best when it comes to your dream home. First National Bank is proud to support the Master Builder Show on QXFM. First National Bank in Weatherford has been building homes in Parker County since 1880. Member FDIC and an equal housing lender.
YourCircleOfWealth.com. A recent study by one of the world's largest financial institutions estimates that over 90% of baby boomers will not retire financially independent. We have prepared a financial report entitled Your Circle of Wealth. Learn how changing the way you manage your money can dramatically increase your wealth. To get a copy, you may go to www.yourcircleofwealth.com and enter the passcode Gibson, Gibson. That's yourcircleofwealth.com.
Alamo Electrical Contracting Services, 9500 Camp Bowie West, Fort Worth, Texas, 817-249-4964. Offering residential and commercial electrical services in Parker, Palo Pinto, Wise, Hood, Johnson, Erath, and Tarrant counties. That's Alamo Electrical Contracting Services, 9500 Camp Bowie West, Fort Worth, Texas, 817-249-4964. Gibson Home Builders Incorporated, 2401 Zion Hill Road, Weatherford, Texas, 682-429-2116. We specialize in homes to suit each and every individual that expects special attention. We help design, finance, and close on every home we build. We use green building techniques in all of our homes. You can contact Jim at masterbuildershow.com. Gibson Home Builders Incorporated, Weatherford, 682-429-2116.
That's a first.
Welcome back to the Master Builder Show. I'm your host, Jim Gibson. Today's sponsor is First National Bank of Weatherford, and we're talking about basements in Texas. And we've got a couple of gift certificates to give away to Home Depot today, and we've got a caller on the line. Yes, caller, can I help you?
Good morning, Jim. I was enjoying your show and just wanted to ask a quick question if I could. That's some good information on basements and basement construction. I was wondering, on this backfilling of the gravel on the outside, I guess he's overcut the hole for the basement to give some working room. Are they, how are they stabilizing or supporting that gravel as they backfill? Are they doing it as they backfill with dirt also?
I didn't understand the last. Are they doing it, how are they stabilizing the wall?
Holding the gravel in place as they backfill with the gravel. You know, you got to backfill with dirt too at the same time. I was just wondering how that was all happening.
Well, he's only digging like a 2-foot space behind that wall, between the basement wall and the ditch itself, and so he's filling that entire cavity in between the wall and the dirt with gravel all the way up.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, within about 1 foot of the surface, and then he's putting.
Well, I was kind of like you with visualizing 2 sump pumps. I was having a hard time visualizing that gravel backfill.
Right. Yeah.
I'm getting the picture now.
Well, yeah, because normally I was thinking you needed room to put like a bobcat or something back there and drive around it, but the way they're doing it is they're only leaving about 2 foot, just enough to get in and set the forms, and actually go in and rip out the forms, and only leaving about 2 foot behind the basement wall there in your earth, and filling that all the way up within 1 foot of the surface.
I see. Okay. Well, he's got some skinnier guys than some of the ones I've seen.
Yeah, well,
pretty good.
We got some big boys here in Weatherford.
Thank you, Jim. I'm enjoying the show. Thanks for answering my question.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, all right. We've got a couple of gift certificates to give away for Home Depot. They're $25 each, and we've got another caller. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. You're live. What's your question? Hello.
Well, I think I got the wrong guy.
You got the wrong guy. This is QXFM radio.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just calling. I haven't been able to pick y'all up for the last few days. That's why I was calling.
Okay. Well, we got everything taken care of, I think. That's all you needed?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Anyway, we've got a couple of gift certificates to give away, and our first question was answered earlier on the show, so if you were paying attention, you should be able to get it. You can call us on 877-341-8950, and it is, what is the number one myth about not building a basement in Texas? What is the number one reason or myth, well, I guess it's the number one reason for not building a basement in Texas, but actually if you do the basement right, you can build it. And we've been talking about it. Call us on 877-341-8950, 877-341-8950. All right, we were talking about we backfill with gravel, and we put the dirt on the top surface there and provided a drain plane away from the basement. Talking about, let's talk about putting windows and stuff in basements. You can put windows in basements, can't you?
We can put windows in the basements. We can put exterior egress, walkout, stairs up. Yeah.
Welcome to the Master Builder Show. You're live. Hello, caller.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, will that be flooding?
Well, it's not flooding. No, we had, like I said, started on earlier, but that's not the correct answer. Thank you, sir. All right, we were talking. You said we can put windows and some type of egress in the basement.
Yeah, basically in basements we have what's called hopper windows.
All right, we got another caller. You're live on the Master Builder Show.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How about the soil movement here in Texas?
The soil movement, correct. Expansive soils. And what is your name, sir?
My name's Bobby.
Bobby?
Bynum.
Bobby,
Yes, sir.
Bobby Byman. I think you've won some more of these.
Yes, I have. I listen to y'all all the time.
All right, great. Bobby Bynum. You got
Yes.
your gift certificate. Come by and pick it up at the show.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, sir. All right. What do we need to do to put windows and like doorways in the basement? Do we have a problem with rain coming down in them, or what do we do to alleviate the water problems?
Basically, we got another caller.
We got another caller. You're live on the Master Builder Show. Can I help you?
Yeah, was it the hydraulic action of wet soil?
Well, yes, but there was a caller that called in right before you did and got the correct answer. So sorry. We'll try again next week. All right. And okay, we were talking about putting windows and like doorways in basements.
Yeah, typically windows, we've got what we call bucks.
Okay.
They are forms that we put inside our forms for the proper opening.
Correct.
Okay. And those windows, then you put the windows in. But how we keep the water out is obviously we've got to build some type of window well on the outside. Now, on a typical hopper window, which is 16 inches high, 32 inches wide, those are up at the top of the wall.
Right.
And we'll have metal window wells there. And in all window wells, we will bring the stone all the way up into that window well.
Okay.
That way, if any water running down the wall or wherever or coming in from the ground around it, when it gets into that window well, it goes straight down to the footer tile.
Okay.
Because that is one bad thing about windows is if you don't, if you have dirt in there,
Right.
the water's going to puddle up and it's going to come through your window.
Correct.
So depending on the size of the window, we just build a different window well.
So on your window wells, you don't put floors in window wells.
No, sir. We want those things to drain. And then, and those also serve as an escape for radon. There's this radon thing.
Right.
It used to be a big scare.
How big a problem is radon in Texas? Or is it a problem?
Radon's everywhere.
Okay.
Radon's everywhere. It's just a subterranean gas.
What do we do to alleviate that problem? Just ventilate?
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
vertical ventilation up and out, which is another reason for windows. Because our window wells with stone all the way up is our ventilate system.
Do you have to mechanically ventilate a basement, or is it will the radon flow out? Or
It'll flow out. Yeah.
So it's lighter than air.
Yeah, it's a gas. So any radon gas that would be underneath your floor is going to be traveling through that stone that we've got down there. You can get to your footer tile, comes through the footer with our crossing drainage into the outside footer tile and up through your window wells and dissipate.
Explain footer tile. What is a footer tile?
Footer tile is just a piece of pipe with holes in it.
Okay.
Around that footer. And the holes let water in.
Okay.
And the footer pipe or tile, it's historically known as tile because it used to be clay.
That's you were calling it tile, and the only thing I've seen is that black perforated pipe. That
we don't use that either.
You don't use that either?
No,
What do you use?
no.
What do you use?
The white stuff.
The white
stick,
stuff.
the rigid.
Okay.
I won't use snake.
Using like Schedule 40?
No, it's Schedule 20. It says you can see it in Home Depot. It's thin wall and it's got holes in it.
Well, we got to take another break. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Did you know that some of the best home builders in the entire nation are right here in Parker County? Hello, everyone. This is Lynn Bearden, president of First National Bank of Weatherford. Our lenders believe your family deserves the best when it comes to your dream home. First National Bank is proud to support the Master Builder Show on QXFM. First National Bank in Weatherford has been building homes in Parker County since 1880. Member FDIC and an equal housing lender.
YourCircleOfWealth.com. A recent study by one of the world's largest financial institutions estimates that over 90% of baby boomers will not retire financially independent. We have prepared a financial report entitled Your Circle of Wealth. Learn how changing the way you manage your money can dramatically increase your wealth. To get a copy, you may go to www.yourcircleofwealth.com and enter the passcode Gibson, Gibson. That's YourCircleOfWealth.com.
Henson Lumber, Crescent, Texas, 817-396-4321. www.hensonlumber.com. Henson Lumber, serving our community since 1973. Both lumber and millwork products. The full-time estimator gives customers defined and accurate materials estimates. The millwork department has windows, doors, trim, and hardware. www.hensonlumber.com. Henson Lumber, Crescent, Texas, 817-396-4321. Gibson Home Builders Incorporated, 2401 Zion Hill Road, Weatherford, Texas, 682-429-2116. We specialize in homes to suit each and every individual that expects special attention. We help design, finance, and close on every home we build. We use green building techniques in all of our homes. You can contact Jim at masterbuildershow.com. Gibson Home Builders Incorporated, Weatherford, 682-429-2116. Welcome back to Master Builder Show. I am your host, Jim Gibson. Today's sponsor is First National Bank of Weatherford, and my guest today is Tom Whirling with North Texas Basements, and we've been talking about basements, and really, I guess there's no problems with building a basement in the state of Texas if you know what you're doing, correct? Hello.
No, there really isn't. There's just some criteria that may make you think twice about it. You know, if you got a lot of rock and stuff.
The liabilities, I think, have scared most builders off from doing so because they were built wrong. They got sued. I know some builders that have gone out of business because of basements. They weren't built correctly, and of course, lawsuits evolve. Especially if you got your house caving in. See,
with me and my 30-year past with this stuff,
right?
If you come to me and start demanding stuff I'm not comfortable with, go find somebody else.
Well, that's the way I am as a builder. If they come and start demanding and telling me how to do my job, and I have to put my name on the house, and I have to guarantee that structure for 10 years, then if I'm not comfortable with it, I won't build it. And there's no way. We've got another Home Depot gift certificate giveaway today, and this question is going to be easy if you've been paying attention. It is, what company is Tom Whirling with? What company is he with? And I think I've said it. I think I said it when we came back from this last break. But anyway, you can call us on 877-341-8950. That's 877-341-8950. We were talking about windows and the window wells. And what about putting a doorway down there?
Doorway's no problem. There is a product I'd like to bring in later on once we get going. It's called a Precast Stairway system, and that's a Precast Stairway.
Right.
It's really neat how it works. It comes in and it bolts to the opening. You put a door in, you got a stairway.
Hello, caller.
North Texas Basements.
North Texas Basements is correct. Who's calling, please?
Justin Dickey.
Justin Dickey.
Yes.
All right, Justin. We've got a gift certificate you can pick up here at the station. You know where the station is?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, Tom Whirling with North Texas Basement. All right. And you were telling us about the doorway product?
Yeah, this is a Precast Stairway system, basically. You bring it in, and it's got all-thread rod, let's say, and it bolts to the basement. Mm-hmm. You leave a 40-inch opening. Okay. That's what a door measures with the brick mold on it.
Right.
And that bolts to the foundation, and then you got a stairway out. You put a door in there, and you put in a basement door opening, Bilco door, and you're all set.
Looks like we got another caller here. Welcome. You're live on the Master Builder Show. Can I help you?
Yeah, is it Texas Basement?
We had a caller call in right before you did and got it right. Try next week. All right, sir. Thank you. But, okay, it's 40-inch opening wide, and what do we have to do at the bottom of that one? You're just putting gravel again at the base of the doorway going in, correct?
No, that There we pour the slab right out to the exterior edge of the wall.
Okay.
And this unit sits right tight up against it.
How you get the water out when it rains?
Oh, you got a Bilco door on top of it, metal door.
Oh, okay.
Like
you got
Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz.
Like the old cellar.
Yeah, the old cellar door.
Okay, but you're still going to get some water in there, possibly, right? No?
Never have.
Seals tight?
Yeah, we never have.
Don't run in and out in the rain?
No. Then we backfill around those steps underneath it with stone.
Okay.
So, no, we've never had a problem with that. We've never had a problem with that. Now, let's say we have an 11-foot basement pour. Everything's bigger in Texas.
Right.
So let's say we have an 11-foot pour. Well, they don't make a form that big for those steps. So there what we'd do is we'd pour walls out. And then you could frame, wood steps up there. And then put,
wood steps. Huh?
Yeah, just like going to the second floor. Or going from the basement to the first floor. Then you'd have to, figure out some type of door on top of it.
Okay. Tom, you want to tell us a little bit about your company? We've got just a few minutes left here on the air, and you're with North Texas Basements.
North Texas Basements. Basically, our goal is to make it a one-stop shop. 30 years of experience. We're going to take the plans.
Okay.
We're going to take care of the engineering.
Right.
So they're done right.
Okay.
Right.
You've got
pure and simple.
You've got a set of my plans with you right now, I think, don't you?
Yeah, they're back at the house. Yeah. But we're going to do the engineering.
Okay.
So it's going to be done right. We're going to take it from a flat lot or whatever the lot is at the time. We're going to do the excavating. We're going to do all the concrete work. We're going to do the gravel backfill. We're going to grade the lot. It'll be clean, ready for the framer.
How do they get in touch with you?
817-770-BASEMENT, BSMT 2768.
Say it again.
817-770-2768. Also, we will be putting our website together, and they can already email me there. The site's not up yet, but they can email me, Tom, at North Texas Basements, which is ntxbsmt.com.
Repeat it one more time.
Tom at North Texas Basements, which is ntxbsmt.com.
It's been a pleasure having you on the show today, and I have been deathly afraid of building basements till I ran into you, and you've made my life easier, I think.
We've got a lot of things to go over. I'm going to have to be working with plumbers, HVAC people. Right. There's a lot of learning to go.
How do you put a bathroom in a basement?
That's another sump pump.
Another sump pump.
Yeah.
A big sump. You get more like a grinder pump.
It's a grinder pump. Yeah, it's a sealed pit.
Right.
The lid is sealed, and there's a grinder pump down there for solids. Okay. It's a 2-inch solid grinder pump. But yeah, basements are no problem at all.
Basement bathrooms are
basement bathrooms. But bedrooms, about anything can go down there.
Well, I knew the bedrooms, and I know a lot of people put their game rooms down there. It's a nice place. Do you have to air condition and heat a basement?
It's good too, because that basement's going to draw a little bit of moisture, and it's going to be cool. Mm-hmm. So you do want some air movement down there, because during, let's say, April, May, June, October, November, you can actually take that basement. It's not going to be drastically cooler, but it is a source of cooling. Mm-hmm. So what you could do is you want to have some air duct down there, and go ahead and you can switch your AC fan from automatic to on,
and let return air pull that,
and let that return air pull that coolness, natural coolness. I mean,
excellent idea.
I mean, the greenest thing we can do is harvest coolness under our feet.
Correct.
It's free.
Right. Well, like I said, it has been a pleasure having you here today, and our show is just like coming to an end, and we will see you next Tuesday.